Thank you for tuning in to Grieving Voices. Today is a Where Are They Now episode, and it is a follow up with a guest who I originally spoke to on January 19th, 2021, Jordan Brodie. And his episode went live on April 27th, 2021. It is episode 44, and it is titled Growing Up Gay, Coda, and with addiction. And so if you haven't listened to that episode, you might want to check that one out first and then come back to this one. But I am so excited to catch up with Brodie. There has been a lot going on in his life since then. And also, actually, the week after we spoke, his brother had died of an overdose. And so that is where we will start today. But first of all, Jordan, thank you so much for being here. And you're all the way over in France. So thank you so much for joining me from France and recapping, because I love the idea of following up with people after a couple of years. And because if I'm wondering how you've been, what you've been up to, what's changed in your life, I'm sure other people are too. And so thank you so much for taking the time to catch us all up.
Yes, of course. You're welcome. Thank you, Victoria. I'm so grateful to be back here today. So much has happened since Chase died. And even after that podcast we recorded 8 days after my older brother died. And God, I think speaking with you and like having been prepared from losing my best friend, it really helped me, I think, because Josh's death, my older brother, was even more difficult for me emotionally. And Chase's death was very difficult. I think kind of like having this platform to tell my story, I think it really helped my grieving process. And I just want to thank you because it really did help me to talk about it right away. It really did. I think I really think I grieved well, and I'm still grieving Chase and Josh and other losses in my life. Like it's a continuous thing. I think society prepares us to get things. Like we're in a consumer capitalistic society where we need get. We want this, we want that, we want new things, we want a new dog, a new puppy, a new bike, a new car, a new house, a new boyfriend, a new girlfriend. We always want new things. We gotta get that new iPhone every year. But a lot of people, our society doesn't teach people how to lose things in a proper, healthy way. And you know, when you lose something, a lot of times people are like, "Oh well, don't worry, you can get another one," and that really invalidates the emotions. I've learned it's not good to say that to people. Don't say, "Oh well, you can get a new cat, you can get a new dog." It invalidates the emotions, and also I don't like it when people offer me like tissues or Kleenex when I'm crying. Like I don't like being blocked. I want to just let it flow because I think it's healthy. We have such a shame around crying and um and losing things, but it's a part of life. It's inevitable. And yeah, like getting on here with you. It was about 2 years ago. Really helped me like with my grieving process because if I keep things bottled in, I go crazy. I really do, and I need to talk about what's going on with me, and everyone does, not just on a podcast. You don't just need to be on a podcast to talk to people. We can talk to our friends, our family, our therapists, but I think it's important to talk to someone, and you really helped me. So thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because I really had no idea. I mean, I know we had kind of just talked over social media a little bit after I had heard that your brother had passed, but I had no idea, um, because those are the very things that we talk about in the program, Do Grief Differently. Like and I try and educate people, like, don't hand a tissue, that stops someone from crying. And so just the fact that you remembered those things and that you found them helpful, and um, you're probably actually helping other people too and educating other people along the way in the past 2 years, just based on what you've learned in our first conversation.
Yeah, I really hope so. I really hope to be just a light and an inspiration by being vulnerable on social media, on the internet, on YouTube, in public with people, just being open and honest and authentic. I really hope it helps others. And I know it helps others. I've had people say they look up to me. I do know I have people that look up to me, and I'm really grateful for that. It used to make me feel uncomfortable, but I've worked through my imposter syndrome, and I think everyone, not just me, everyone can help anyone with their story. We all have a story to tell. You, Victoria, have a story to tell. All the listeners on here have a story to tell. And it's important and it's valid. And it doesn't matter if you're just a grocery store clerk, or you're just a farm boy, or you're just a high schooler with no extracurricular activities, or you are the football player, or whatever you are. You have a story. Everyone has a story. It doesn't matter who it is. You don't have to be a royalty, a rich person born into a rich family, a celebrity. It's not just the celebrities that have stories to tell. It's the little Joes and Bobs and Dinas and Susies in the middle of America, in the middle of Europe, in the middle of France. Everyone has a story, and I love your podcast because you do interview everyone. It's not just celebrities, it's not just these people, it's normal, average Joe people dealing with grief, and everyone deals with grief in their life, and it's something we need to talk about. I don't think any topic should be taboo in this world because we're all human. We all go through the same feelings and emotions and desires, maybe different ways. But why should any topic be taboo or shameful when everyone is experiencing it?
In church recently, the priest had shared, he said, we should not hide our wounds. When we hide our wounds and we don't talk about our wounds, they kill us.
Yeah,
And that
it's
speaks to what you've just been sharing.
it's very, very true. So since Josh and Chase died, by the way, Josh's death is very difficult, and he actually died from the same death as Chase, a similar death. It was a fentanyl overdose. So Chase, it was a, I don't know the exact details about Chase, and I don't even really know the exact details about Josh, but I know that he had COVID and had been isolated for 2 weeks and then relapsed, and it was an overdose on fentanyl. And I did similar thing with Chase. With Chase, I was like, how can I be of service to his mother? Like, and being of service throughout Chase's death process, like after he died, and asking his mother, like, how can I help? Like, I loved Chase so much. Like, how can I help? She asked for help putting together his, because it was during COVID, his Zoom memorial service for friends and family, because COVID, she couldn't have a big open funeral. It was only really close family members, no friends. So so I I did that. I found a pastor to run the services, and I made invitations. I invited a bunch of people. Like, it was really hard to do, but it helped me stay focused. It helped me stay sane. I had some friends donate money to pay the pastor because it was on Zoom. And it was a friend from a Unitarian Universalist church who did the service, and it was a beautiful service. I think I sang, and my other friends sang, and read a poem, and it was very beautiful. Chase would have loved it because Chase was an artist. He was an actor. He was a performer. I still think about him. He's still a superhero to me. He was obsessed with um with um Spider-Man. And when the new Spider-Man movie came out, I remember that new Spider-Man movie came out. It was on, I think it was on Josh's birthday. The Josh's birthday was February 18th, and he died January 27th. I think I went to his to see, it was somewhere around his birthday that the new Spider-Man movie came out, and Chase was obsessed with Spider-Man. Chase McGuire. He had all these photo shoots with him. It was kind of silly. It was like an adult child when it came to Spider-Man. But I would just, the message of that Spider-Man movie. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see the new Spider-Man?
No.
It was. I don't want to ruin too much of the story but for those who saw it that are listening, there was a message of forgiveness to those who have done you wrong. Because it's a long story, but I don't want to ruin the plot. But there was a character in the movie who hurt Spider-Man, and Spider-Man had a choice to he had a choice to make, and he would have done something wrong if he wouldn't have chosen to forgive. And the thing about Chase and Josh is they both died from a fentanyl addiction, which drug dealers are lacing drugs with fentanyl. So I was angry, like at drug dealers. When Chase moved to LA, he's very handsome. He kind of, people, all the actor agents said he looked like the next Ashton Kutcher. He's very handsome. And everyone, just so many old guys came around promising him fame and fortune and I'll be your agent. But a lot of them just fed him drugs and got him high and took advantage of him. Like, it's true. And it happens to so many people that move to LA. So many people. I've seen it happen. I was in LA for 11 years. And I saw so many people get chewed up and spit out. And I'm so sad that Chase happened to be one of them. I luckily kind of avoided that. I avoided the drug part because I already got it out of my system in high school. But Chase fell into that, and all these old gross men. I was always so I was so protective of Chase. I mean, I knew him since I was 8 years old, and I had a big crush on him. I didn't realize it, but he was kind of my high school crush. But he only liked older guys, and I wasn't necessarily his type. And I think we were both kind of afraid of each other in that way. Um, I'm afraid of intimacy and being hurt, and I was afraid to be honest with him about how I truly felt for him. And that was one of my biggest regrets when he died. But basically, um, he I was always so angry with Chase. I was like, Chase, why are you hanging out with this guy? He just wants to fuck you. He just wants this. And he's like, oh yeah, but he helps me with my scripts when I have auditions. And I was like, I can help you with this script. Someone else can, but this guy is not good for you. There were so many of these. And to be fair, like one of these guys that I'm talking about, and I don't want to say his name, he, like 2 years ago. He's a really popular agent in LA. And he literally got me too'd and canceled. And that he actually died from cancer like a few months ago. This guy in particular. And I was always like, Chase, why are you hanging out with this guy? Like, he's not promising you anything. He's just using you. He's getting you high. He's leading you on. And this is good to share because part of the reason why is I'm tired of the superficiality of LA. I'm tired of seeing it. It was so heartbreaking to me. And all these influencers, all these people are coming every day, every year, and falling for this trap. And so many people get caught into drug addiction. Think about the amount of famous people you know with drug problems that like go spiraling down. For every famous person, there's probably like 10,000 not famous people who never make it, who die from an overdose in LA because they get stuck in that whole trap. It's really dark and messed up. And I think people should know, like, when they move to LA, to have boundaries and not lose their backbone. Like keep your morals and your standards or you will get lost. Like I got lost. Thank God I got back on track. Chase actually helped me get back on track. He was my Eskimo. Like I went to anonymous 12-step programs at first to support Chase. And then I stuck with it. And now, yeah, I have 6 years sober. I'll have 7 years on January 13th. So help me God. But
Congratulations.
thank you. It's just really heartbreaking. And I'm tired of seeing people just fall into this superficial chase of fame and fortune. And I have different dreams now. I still desire to be famous for my music and well known or successful and be paid for my art and my music. Fame represents success for me as an artist. But I don't, it's not, if I'm making a living as an artist, or even if I am still making art, but I have all my needs met, like I have a home, a place to live, food to eat, as long as I'm doing music, recording, I don't care if 1,000 people are listening or not. I just want to have a place to sleep, some food to eat, and be doing music. And I realize I don't like big cities. I feel anxious in big cities. So I'm actually traveling Europe right now. I've been in Europe almost for 2.5 months, doing work away. I'm traveling right now around the world. I'm gonna probably be doing this for like a year or two until I figure out where I want to live. I'm getting European citizenship through my grandmother. She was born in Estonia. It's not guaranteed, but we're starting the process to apply for my citizenship. And yeah, I love Europe. I'm loving it. And I feel like Chase and Josh are with me. But yeah, for everyone that's planning on moving to LA or New York, any big city, it doesn't matter. Paris, Berlin, Barcelona, London, all these major cities have huge drug problems. So it's really important to stick with your morals and ethics and your backbones. Like wherever you're going, find a role model from your childhood. Like maybe it's your grandpa, or someone that you really admire that has good qualities of integrity and service and love. They don't have to be perfect. My grandpa and some of my role models are not perfect. They have mistakes, they've had flaws, but I admire their good qualities and I aspire to be like them. Finding role models in my recovery has been what's helped me. And I think going back to the Spider-Man thing, that's what one of his role models was Spider-Man, because he's such a positive hero. Like I think he's such a great role model. And when I watched that movie, God, I bawled so hard in the theater. But like I said, the moral of that story was forgiveness to those who have done you wrong and hurt you. If you watch it, you will know what I mean. You will see this message. It's pretty clear. And it's exactly like I was so mad about Chase. Like I blamed basically any old gay guy. This sounds really, grief is a seductive kind of messed up. It can put some messed up voices in your head, like my ego. And any like older gay guy, I was just angry at. I was like, everyone's a predator. I hate all of you guys. Like Tyler, just like so many people. I shouldn't just so many people I was just so mad at, and I was blaming all these people, and it was really hard. I was so angry at everyone. I was just angry at the world, like for just being not understanding of my friend and not respecting his humanity because he was a very handsome person, and just so many people like threw themselves at him and tried to take advantage of him. And I was just like always there on the side, like supporting him with my love. And I was, of course, hoping one day, well, no, I appreciate him as a friend and I was content with our friendship, but I really was in love with him. Looking back at it, I was very much in love with him. Like I was too disassociated from my own addictions to know that it was like what I was feeling. But he was always when in high school, I had a big crush on him. I had a huge crush on him. He's so charismatic, he's so funny, he's so handsome, and I had a big crush on him. And then I always did, and he knew it. Like he liked older guys. So
How do you honor his life today?
today, okay, so as I'm traveling, um, going to things like that Spider-Man movie was very helpful. Um, Chase, oh, I got to see Demi Lovato perform at Evita like the week before I left for Europe, and Chase was the biggest Demi Lovato fan. Like I wasn't that. I love Demi, but like I'm not obsessed. Like she's not my diva. I love her. I love her music. I'm obsessed. Like I do love her. Okay, but Chase was obsessed, like the biggest Demi Lovato fan. So I felt like he was there with me, and like he was so happy, and like I just felt him there, um and then I just feel his energy a lot. And I talk sometimes. I'll reach out to his mother, see how she's doing. We talk on social media a lot, and she's just really supportive of me, and I know she still misses him a lot. And then just by Chase was very like um I he was like very risk taking, very adventurous. It's on my list of things to do to go skydiving with some of his friends, like in Chase's memory, because Chase was such a risk taker. So I want to get some of his friends and I want to go skydiving because I'm so scared of heights, and like YOLO in his memory, like I want to jump for him. And then I work my program, my recovery programs, and my sobriety honors him. Like I feel like when he died, I don't know if I talked about this in the podcast, but I um I didn't handle it the best when it came to my recovery and some of my behaviors, because I still like I acted out like sexually, like to like cope with the emotions I was experiencing. And like, because I'm an addict, but I'm not just like a drug addict and an alcoholic. Like, I also struggle with sex addiction and love addiction and emotional anorexia. And when Chase died, I relapsed. I really did. I didn't talk about this when we did the interview, but I did relapse like when he died. And it took me like a week or two to like get back on track. And that was really hard. Like, but when Josh died, I think since that had already happened, I didn't relapse when Josh died. I was ready, I was prepared. And so that was really hard. And my sex and love addiction is still very difficult. I do still get really lonely. Um, and I have a lot of pain, like anxiety, emotional pain. And I think it's good not to latch onto someone when you're grieving or you're sad. But I wasn't ready for that. Like no one prepares you to lose your best friend or like to lose your older brother. Like I had never experienced any significant loss like that in my life. It was the first. So I was not ready for that at all. At all. Like I wasn't that close with my grandpa when he died. I was like, it wasn't that big of a deal for me. I mean, he's a grandpa, he's older, it's part of life. And he was kind of angry towards the end of his life. So I was kind of relieved for him because he had cancer and he was in a lot of pain. He wasn't very nice to me and my little brothers, and I didn't like how he treated my little brothers. So when he passed, I was a little bit relieved that for his pain, because I knew he was in a better place. Because he was in so much pain towards the end of his life. And I don't know, but Chase, like I thought he was doing good. Like he had just gotten 6 months sober. And Yeah, I still really miss him a lot. And honestly, like, I was really delusional about their deaths. Like, when I don't know, like last January, I was this January, I was like, oh my gosh, it's almost been a year. I was texting my stepmom. I was like, it's almost been a year since Josh died. And she was like, Jordan, it's been 2 years. Like, that's how like disassociated I've been when it comes to my brother and Chase. Like, I was still in denial about his death for a really long time. Like, and I'm still a little bit in denial about it. Like, I really am. Like, I'm a fantasy addict, so I live in fantasy. I live in my head a lot, and I escape into these fantasies of being all these different characters. It's something that I do. It's kind of crazy, but it's normal for artists. Like, I guess a lot of us do this, like Nicki Minaj has her personalities. I have mine. I'm just not as vocal about it. It's all in my head, but I escape into fantasies of them still being here, like a lot of the time, which I don't think is very healthy. But I don't, no one prepared me for this. Like, having this platform, being able to talk to you, also my recovery community. I do gratitude list every morning. Doing that gratitude every morning after Josh died and after Chase died, really helped me keep like a glimmer of light and hope. Um, like, as that dark period went, and my I don't want to say, but my sponsor in one of my recovery programs was like one of the first people I called when I found out Josh died. And he was the first person I called, and he like helped me, like, and so many people helped me. And it's really important to know that shit's gonna happen in life. People are gonna die. Um, and there's gonna be people there for you, like, no matter what. Like, and it's important to let them help you. Um, like, my best friends all kind of like kidnapped me too. Like, when they found out Chase and Josh died, they kind of just like kidnapped me and like took me, like, and like I stayed with them in Orange County for a few days. And there's all my friends came around me. I'm so lucky. I have really good friends. And yeah, but it's really hard. Gosh, I was not expecting to cry like this. I guess because like doing workaway, so I'm how I'm doing Europe is I am doing workaway. So it's an exchange. I'm here at this house that's on a farm in Normandy, France, and and the guy who owns it's a single gay guy. And in exchange for a house to stay and food to eat, I help him 20 hours a week with whatever he wants. Like, I helped him make a costume, like a gay. He has some event this weekend, so helped him make a gay alien costume, and I helped him. We've up to today been weeding. I help cook. I help with his animals, like clean up donkey poo. Each job is different. I was in Switzerland before this for 3 weeks, and I was like an assistant to the housewife. I was like picking up the kids from school, tutoring, cooking, and the first one was similar to this. So, but these last 3 days, it's really scary. I'm out of my element. These last 3 days have been hard for my sex and love addiction, I guess. Like, so I think that might be why I'm crying a little bit, because I just am reminded how difficult it was. And I relapsed when Chase died. And I know it's pretty common. A lot of people relapse in recovery programs when a loved one dies, or they break. This is why it's suggested not to get in a relationship the first year of recovery. It's not a requirement, it's a suggestion, because to not get in a relationship and not get out, because significant changes in our emotions, we use drugs and alcohol, sex, our addictive patterns to numb our pain and our sadness. So if we shift things and we experience big changes, the chances of us relapsing before we have the right tools are higher. So yeah,
May
it's
I
been
ask,
uh,
may I ask if, so how long have you been doing Workaway? When did you leave the US?
oh, the end of March. So March like 29th, and I started my first position like April 2nd.
So do you feel as though, I mean, because it's one thing to like leave your home country for a couple weeks and knowing you're coming back and knowing when you're coming back. But in doing Workaway and having the intention that you're going to do it at least a year, maybe even 2 years, and being away from, it's one thing to, we have the devices, we can stay connected in that way, but to not physically be in proximity to those we love and our family and our friends and things like that. I'm just asking, do you feel like potentially a part of this resurfacing for you is just the fact that you are away from your home? You're, I mean, this is a huge change. If you
Yeah.
think about it, I mean, this is a huge change. You're plopping
Uh,
yourself in a
that's a
place
good
you've never
question.
been.
That's a good question. And I think that might be some of it. But the thing is, I don't feel like I actually miss anyone. It's kind of weird. Like, I miss people. I would love to see my friends, my family. Like, if they showed up or if I went and visited them, I would be elated. I'd be so happy and excited to see them. But I don't feel like a yearning for them. I'm like, oh, it'd be nice to see them. I feel like I don't, I'm just having so much fun. Like, it's so exciting for me. I've never been to Europe. So I'm so excited. I'm so inspired. And also, I've been in LA for 11 years. And my mother lives in Montana. All my loved ones live in New Mexico and Montana. And then I have friends all over the country and the world that I grew up with. So I'm always missing someone. Like, at what I have a really big family and they live all over. Like, I'm always missing someone. I'm used to this feeling because I'm kind of spread out a little bit thin. It's like the perks of having a lot of people you love in your life. Like, I have
Mhm.
a big family, with a lot of friends. I have a big community around me, um, of people in real life. It's not just social media. Like, most of my friends and family and loved ones, I have a large majority of people that don't even use social media. So like, I just I'm always missing someone. So I'm used to this. So the truth is, yes, I do think that's part of it, but I thoroughly enjoy the host here, and I'm here with two other workawayers, and I go out on walks a lot. I pray a lot. I meditate. I do outreach calls all day long with fellows, and thank God for technology. Like, you're out in North Dakota, I'm here in France, and we're able to talk. I've been able to call my friends in LA, New York, in New Mexico. Like, I've been able to call people still and FaceTime them. It's not the same as personal connection, but I get that from them. I guess I'm a little bit lonely. And the fact is, like, I think also Chase served, he wasn't my brother, he wasn't family. Josh was my family. It's different. I didn't have like romantic feelings for Josh, for my older brother, you
Mhm.
know? I didn't, he was my brother, we were blood, but Chase, I kind of had some intimate romantical feelings. And I didn't really fully understand that until he died. And it's really sad. I think it's really sad that I didn't know. Because like, I knew I liked him and I was kind of obsessed with him, but I didn't know they were those feelings until he died, and I felt those feelings. And I don't know, like, I think that's why I relapsed when Chase died in my sex and love addiction, is because I didn't know how to handle those feelings, that feeling of loss, that feeling of grief. I I've had a few other like guys, like people that I've had these really intense feelings for, like since Chase died. And it's weird because I feel like having him die kind of gave me permission to like move on. I guess I've spread myself out too thin emotionally and sexually because of my past as a sex worker, because of my promiscuity. Emotionally, I was a little bit of an emotional whore, like, just my emotions are all spread out all over the world. So, like, having Chase died, like, kinda helped me reel it in, like, emotions. I have better boundaries now. I don't harm myself anymore emotionally. I don't I try to I'm way more conservative than I thought I was, like, emotionally and sexually. Like, and it's new to me, but Chase kinda helped me with that, and yeah, I've been able to forgive those guys that I mentioned that I was mad at because of Chase's death. I kinda blame them. Certain characters in West Hollywood that I know was, really angry at. And they're still doing the same shit. These older men that work in the industry having these parties, inviting all the young new gays, giving them drugs, giving them alcohol, telling them they'll do this, they'll do that, but they really just want to get laid. It's still happening. The same people are still doing the same shit as 11 years ago when I moved to LA. The same shit. It's not different. And I'm like, how do these people sleep at night? But I don't think they're fully aware of what they're doing. It's kind of like if they knew and they would stop doing it. But it takes two sides. But I've been able to forgive them. Like, I don't and I've left LA. It's a new experience for me. I do wonder, am I escaping? Am I doing escapism by being out here? But I'm really enjoying Europe. I don't plan to I plan to like move here and get a house here and like be here, but I plan to go back to LA, but back to New York, back to New Mexico, see my parents, back to Montana. I still plan to stay connected to America. I'm always going to be American, like even if I get my Estonian citizenship and like I don't know, but
Do you
yeah, I think you are right. I think I am feeling a little bit lonely. But last night I made a friend. I made friends with this local girl. She was really nice, and um, I'll go to Paris in 2 weeks and see one of my friends. And there's a big recovery convention that week, so I'll see people then. I'm only like 3 hour train ride from Paris right now, so it's pretty cool.
do
Um,
you think a part of this too could be a little bit of being ready maybe to settle down? Maybe just wanting
oh,
someone to share this experience with?
definitely. I was talking about this last night with someone. Okay, I've so part of this too. I thought that I it's so funny because Miley Cyrus's song Flowers came out on my sobriety birthday, which is January 13th. Like the album was released. And my it's the theme of the song is self-love. I can buy myself flowers, I can write my name in the sand. So music, and this is a quote directly from Chase. He always told me this. He's like, Jordan, God provides music always at the exact right time when you need it. Like that was Chase's little quote. That was one of his quotes that he always told me, and he always said, "If it's not nice, don't say it at all." And he would always tell me that because I was kind of more of a bitch than he was. I was always very like snarky and saying these things, and he was like, "My mom always taught me if it's not nice, don't say it at all." So he kind of has this conscious in me to like be a nicer person. Um, Anyway, so it to me it was God, it was Chase, it was like music. Also, on the year, um, so on, so his death was December 27th, I think, or December 21st. December 21st. It was the day of the equinox when the the bright star, the North Star or whatever was brightest. So in some ways I'm like, Chase must have been like Jesus or something because he died on that day. What a great day to go out. It was the day that the whole world did that international meditation together. Everyone did it. And he died that night. The North Star was the brightest. Um, so I think it's a beautiful night to pass. The energy was amazing. And okay, so a year later, on the year of his passing, a year prior, it was either the week before or the week after, a few weeks, Kim Petras, one of my other favorite pop stars, put out a song called Coconuts, which coconuts, it's like it's tropical themed in the middle of winter. Like so random. She's the queen of like putting things out at random times. Chase and I, 5 years before he died, we were very silly together and played together. He wrote a song. We wrote a song together called Coconuts. Chase and I did. It was just a joking, stupid song. We were obsessed with coconuts. We were like, anything coconut, coconut oil, it's good for your skin. It tastes good. It's good for cooking. It's good as lube for sex. Like, you can do anything with coconuts. You can eat it. You can do anything with coconuts. So the fact that that song came out like near during a year from his passing was God to me. I was like, Chase is on the other side manipulating shit. Kim Petras just put out a song called Coconuts, and that song is really stupid. It's a dumb pop song about her boobs, basically. Coconuts, my coconuts. It's like totally random, which is also Chase's humor too. So to me, it was God. Like that song is spiritual to me. It's funny because everyone's like, "Oh, this is a dumb pop song," but that song is spiritual for me. Like whenever I hear that song, it's like God speaking to me. And then similar things like um on Josh's birthday this year, um Pink put out her single to her next album, Trustfall. The song Close Your Eyes and Leave It All Behind. Go where love is on our side. It's a trustfall. And I remember like I was playing it on repeat. And the evening of I was going to someone's birthday and I was in West Hollywood. I was in the Candle Delirium store and I was buying a candle for my friend. And at the register, the guy, I always see him there. He owns the store or whatever, but he was like, "Are you okay? How are you, by the way? Are you okay?" And I broke down crying in the store, like in front of I. It wasn't like because I was like, "I'm all right," and then I just kind of cracked, and I was like crying because I couldn't hold it because I was just how I was dealing with it was I was just listening to music and I was alone. And then I just told him, I was like, "Oh, today's my brother's birthday, and he died like 2 years ago, and I really miss him." And um, so yeah, I'm kind of sad, but thank you. And then they gave me a big hug, and they gave me like a really big discount on the candle that I was buying. And he's really handsome, but anyway, that it was like really sweet. So it's always good to be honest. Like we don't want to get vulnerable when we're doing bad, but if you just say, if someone asks you how you're doing and you're not feeling good, there's nothing wrong with saying, "I'm not feeling good. I'm not doing good today. How are you?" It's it's good to be honest about what we're feeling. That's been the biggest lesson with all this. And yeah, and the best way I can honor my brother and Chase is by continuing to work on myself, become the best version of myself. I feel like they're here with me. I pray to them all the time. I talk to them. I dance with them. I like I went to EDC last year and
What does that stand for?
Electric Daisy Carnival in Las Vegas. It's the biggest rave in the United States. It's a big music festival. Like all the big DJs like Calvin Harris, David Guetta, like Benny Benassi, like Gorgon City, Zoo, Grimes. All these DJs like perform. There's like hundreds of DJs, 500,000 people in Las Vegas at the Speedway from all over the world go. And I've been wanting to go for a really long time. And it was my first time going, and I went with two of my best friends, and it was so much fun. And um there was a moment. Okay, so my friend my friend Phoenix and Sean both really love this artist. His name's Excision. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's a electronic music producer. His music has a lot of heavy metal references in it. So it's not like me, I'm candy pop. Like I love pop stuff. I'm always been Britney, Madonna, Michael Jackson, Paris Hilton, Christina Aguilera. If it's gay, shiny, and sparkly, I'm all over it, girl. And I'm listening to it. Like I don't even like horror movies, I'm the sugar to my friend Spice. Like I'm the bright one that's very gay and happy. I do have a dark side, don't get me wrong. I have a dark, angry, evil, twisted bitch side in me too. Sorry, I don't know if I can cuss,
It's
but
okay.
but okay, so here we are. And Josh and I wrote music together. We had a business together, my older brother. We made songs together. Josh produced classical music. He played the guitar, he played the bass, he played the saxophone, he played the piano. He taught himself all these instruments. He had like probably like a few lessons when he was younger in piano, but he was a musical genius. He produced hip hop music, classical music, pop music, EDM. He was so talented. And I kept trying to get Josh to move to LA, like to like for us to work together, but he couldn't ever. His addictions problems and stuff would always get in the way of our working together. And it really frustrated me. And I don't know if he was an addict or not. It's not fair for me to say that, but some of his behaviors would get in the way of us working together. And but we communicate. Music was our bonding thing, my older brother and I. And same with Chase and I, whenever we were driving in the car, it was like you're in a concert. Chase and I were jamming out. We listened to music all day. Chase was always messaging me songs. A lot of my favorite songs. I have a whole playlist with Chase music, Demi Lovato. Just Chase loved music. And he really helped me grow my love of music as a consumer because Chase wasn't making music. He was an actor. He wasn't interested in writing. He was interested in being an actor, but he had a love and a passion for it as like a fan. So I was writing music. Chase loved my songs. He was one of the first people to buy like the physical copy of my first like single Make It Right. Like he bought it online when you could stream it for free. And like he was just so proud of me and he loved my music and um so it meant a lot to me because he moved to LA a year before I did from my hometown, and he let me stay with him for a few weeks and he helped me get started up because he moved there to pursue his acting dreams and I moved to LA to pursue my music dreams. And so anyway, he when at EDC, it's a music festival, so it's all about music. Of course, I was thinking about Chase and Josh the whole time. Like they were there with me. There was this moment, and Josh also was in heavy metal bands. He played heavy metal music, and I love all kinds of genres, but heavy metal is not really my cup of tea. Like I love Metallica, I love Hole. You can still understand the lyrics, but heavy metal screamo music, I love the guitars. I love high intensity guitars and music and rock music. Like I love Ramstein. I'm obsessed with Ramstein. It's because they're really hardcore, but they speak German, so it's like I already don't understand German, so it's okay. But screamo music, I don't know what they're saying. I don't I'm not the biggest screamo fan. I will go to a screamo concert. I will go to a heavy metal concert. I will dress the part and I will have a blast. And I've done it. And I supported. Josh was obsessed with screamo. I think it helped him express his emotions. He was in so many metal bands. He was like producing metal music, blah blah blah. Had all these things going for him. And so ex Sean and Phoenix both love Excision. I've never heard him. Has a lot of heavy metal influences. We're like up at front, all glammed out, look like Barbie dolls, like headbanging in the front of Excision, like looking gay AF in front of all of these. Because Excision, people, they what's that called? Mosh. They mosh pit. Like, it's EDM, but people are moshing. Like, it's aggressive energy. It's not really me. Like, I'm not that. Like, I was the little gay boy in ballet class on the side, the boys' ballet class, watching the other boys who were just there because their sports coaches made them do ballet. They were all tackling each other, and I'm there rolling my eyes. Like, I've never really been the type to like do that. So anyway, we're like headbanging. There was a moment where Excision, because it's like hardcore metal, like EDM, and then all of a sudden he saw us like in the front row. I swear he did this for the three gays in the front because he played a quote of Britney. He was like, "It's Britney, bitch," and then it just went back to the. And then there's a moment where he slowed down the music and he was like um he was like, I just want to take a moment. I just recently lost someone that was really close to me, like a few days ago or a year ago. I can't remember the exact time period, but he was like, tonight I'm really thinking about him and I'm really honoring him. And if there's anyone out there in the audience that's like experienced a significant loss recently, I just want you to know that you're not alone. And I don't remember what else he said, but it was just, I started crying like during a heavy metal EDM set because I knew Josh was there, like with me, like your loved ones are always there with you in your memories and your heart. And I am someone who believes in afterlife. I believe in energy. I don't know if it's actual heaven or hell. I don't really believe in that, but I do believe that our loved ones' energy like is there and guiding me. I feel like I have this team of like almost like they're like in the van of like the spy van. They're like up there and I can just like be like, yo guys, hey, what's up? Like I just feel like I have access to all these people in the spiritual realm and they're always with me. So whenever you're getting Jordan, you're getting all of this. And to go back to your question about I Flowers, Miley Cyrus song music, when I always thought I would need a boyfriend, a husband, a partner before I came to Europe. I would need a rich sugar daddy. I would need this. I would need that. I can't go alone. It's romantical to go to Europe. So the fact that I'm out here by myself without a man or a partner, I'm still not ready to date yet until I finish my steps. So I haven't gone on any dates. I met some guys and I was kind of trying to meet up with this guy that I met in Brazil, like in Switzerland, but he ghosted me. So I have been kind of sad about that. But you said wouldn't it be nice to share this? In the past, I've always thought, yes, it would be so nice to have a partner to share all these amazing things with. But you know what I've been realizing lately is, yeah, that would be nice, and that will happen eventually. But right now, I'm sharing my life with you, Victoria. I'm sharing my life with these workaway hosts. I'm sharing my life with my family, my parents. They're so excited for me that I'm traveling. They're so supportive of this. My dad started sending me money to help with this adventure, which I was not expecting. And then a lot of my friends are so supportive and so proud of me. Like I am sharing my life with people. Like I'm sharing my life with amazing people. Like I already am sharing my life with an amazing, beautiful community. Like I really am. It's not, I'm not missing anything. I have everything I need right now. I have food to eat. I have a house to sleep in. I have friends. I have family. I have love. I have animals. And yes, it would be nice to have a intimate, romantical love partner to share all this with, but it's just gonna add to what I'm already sharing with other people.
I absolutely got full body chills with you
Oh,
sharing that. And I think that is the most beautiful message anyone listening to this can hear today. In that, and that is self-love, right? That is self-love. Opening yourself up to share what you have with
mhm.
where you are right now.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing. And so thank you, because you just, that's such a gift. Like you are sharing your life with me, and
Mm.
to not want, right? Isn't that like the, isn't that what peace really is?
It
What inner
really is,
peace
yeah.
feels like is to not have a feeling of want, like to be at
Mhm. That
peace.
yeah, in Buddhism, they always talk about the 4 pillars of Buddhism. Buddhism is always about, it's all about the relinquishment of suffering, and suffering is defined as wanting something else outside of us. That is suffering. So when I'm sitting there yearning for Chase to come back, or yearning for Josh to come back, or yearning for this guy, or yearning for this, or yearning for anything that's not right here physically in front of me right now. I'm in a room by myself talking to you, sitting on this bed. This room's really pretty. It's I'm this is my present moment. This is what I need to be in acceptance about. This is exactly where I am right now. It's exactly where I need to be. It's exactly where I'm supposed to be. This moment has never happened before, ever in the history of time. It's happening right now. This is the present moment. And that's the present moment is where amazing things happen. It's where really bad things happen. The present moment is where we need to be, and it's all that matters, because the future will give us anxiety if we obsess about it, and the past will depress us. Um so yeah, it is peace to let go of the wanting. It doesn't mean we can't have desires, but when we have desires, I've learned it's important to make a plan of action and set some goals, and then start working towards those goals, but not obsessing about when they're going to happen, because they're going to happen if they're supposed to happen. We can't control that. And I have my goals, and I do have everything I want. And yeah, sometimes when I'm sad and lonely, I yearn for a romantic partner, and sometimes I'm sad about, why Chase, like why Josh, like why my aunt, why this, why that. And sometimes I have to stop myself and be like, well, it happened. It is what it is. It did happen. And I have to be in acceptance. Because if I'm not in acceptance, I get depressed. I get sad. I get this. And I know my brother and Chase and my Aunt Julie and all my loved ones, they loved me so much. And they wanted me to be happy. They really did. They wanted me to have love. They wanted me to be free. Josh was very supportive of me as a gay person, and very protective. Actually, when I was acting out promiscuously, Josh would be like, Jordan, that's not who you are. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's not my brother. Like, and he really loved me. And Chase too. Like, Chase was really trying to help me get closer to God, because he could see how lost and broken I was, and I couldn't. He was a light in a dark place. And my Aunt Julie, she was always like, Jordan, don't hide from us. We know how gay you are. She's like, you are fabulous. And she'd be like, why are you hiding from us? Because I was still hiding from everyone. I was the one who needed to accept me and love me. Everyone loves me and loved me so much. They love how gay I am. They love how feminine I am. They love it. I was the one who didn't love it yet. And I've done some work and I'm still working on that every day, loving myself and accepting myself as my daily journey. And my point is, Julie, Chase, or Josh would not have wanted me to be sad and miserable. They want me to be happy. They want me to celebrate life. They want me to be successful. They want me to be extra. They want me to dance around. They want me to make billions of dollars. They want me to have that a nice guy who takes really good care of me. They want me to be happy. I know that. It's not a question. And so I know whenever I'm starting to feel sad and I get sad about them, I'll say, guys, I'll like kind of say I miss you, or I'll express to a friend that I miss them, or I'll write something, or I'll allow myself to cry. Or this song has been really helpful to me lately. The Next Right Thing from Frozen 2. Oh my gosh, that song just gets me. I listen to it every day sometimes. It just really helps with these emotions because that's all we can do sometimes is the next right thing. What is the next right thing? I know after this I got some stuff to do. That's all we can do is the next right thing. And and yeah, I know that they would be happy and proud with me. I'll say one more thing too. I've learned this recently. There's a great docu-series, by the way, on Disney Plus that Morgan Freeman does called God, and he talks about a bunch of different religions and their views, not just Christianity. He talks about Buddhism. He goes to India. I forgot the name of the city. It starts with a V. It's like Varanasi or Varsini, India, which is one of the spiritual capitals of India. And he talks about in Hinduism how celebrate they celebrate death. It's not a taboo. It's not this grim, sad thing. They believe in an afterlife. They believe it's a journey into a new thing, a new place. So it's a passage. They're excited for their loved ones to go on and continue. It's a celebration for them. And I kind of, I have, in American culture and Western culture, death is seen as this morbid, sad thing, topic. It's awkward. We don't know how to handle grief. We bat we don't know how to handle it. We don't have these social systems in place. Whereas in Hinduism, it's celebrated. They're like, hell yeah, like our loved one died. They get to go on, they get to have a new experience. It's like going to college or something, or getting a new job. It's like a new thing. It's exciting. So I've been trying to think about that with Chase and Josh and Julie and my other loved ones. It's like I'm ex- I'm excited for them. What are they doing now? They're probably having so much fun. Like who knows? Like what? I mean, yeah.
I had a psychic medium on my podcast. Her name's Siri Burnson, and she spoke of a client of hers at one time who the client's son had completed suicide, and the mother was just so concerned that her son was not in heaven. And he came through the psychic and through Siri, and she said he wants you to know that he's in school.
Mhm.
He described to Siri like where he is at. It's school. That whatever
Oh,
lessons he didn't learn in the 3D, he is learning now. And I've actually heard that different said a different way multiple times through other psychic mediums or through people who have had near death experiences or people who have actually died and come back, who have
mhm.
talked about it like looking like this experience or being this experience of like school.
That's
um,
beautiful. I love that. I so where I'm at in Normandy, the host, he teaches yoga and qigong, Chinese, like it's kind of like
mhm.
Tai, and then he does acupuncture. I did qigong on Monday with him Monday morning, and I had a spiritual experience. It's like chi energy in Chinese spirituality is God. It's the energy of light. It's the electricity, the spirit electricity, the realm that runs through you. And qigong is just like movements like this. It's not a hard exercise, but the whole point of it is the connectedness between heaven and earth, like the sky and earth. And and I had an epiphany during the on Monday, because they always say the spirit realm, right? It's like energy. It's not heaven. It's whatever you believe it. It's the afterlife. It's not tangible to the, like you said, the 3D plane. This plane that we're in right now. It's another realm. The earth, the real realm that we're in right now, is is tangible. We can touch things. Our blessing, humans serve a huge place in the universe because we're the only creatures, and animals, I believe too, that are the conduit, the middle ground between the spiritual realm and the real realm. We get to experience both. We get to experience the physical plane in existence and the spiritual plane when we tap into God energy and we tap into our loved ones who have passed. It's a blessing. It's a huge honor to be human. And I had an epiphany that that's what it means to be human. To be human means to be a conduit from the spiritual realm and the physical realm. It's a blessing, and we have a purpose here to take care of each other and to take care of the animals who aren't as advanced as us. I think it's our responsibility to care for the animals that, and for the people less fortunate, the people that aren't born with legs, the people that are born with diseases. If you have a privilege and you have legs or you have money, you have resources, it's our responsibility to take care of them. Just had this whole epiphany during qigong, which is like, so that's why it's good to be open-minded too. Like, I was raised Christian. I read the Bible. I do believe in Jesus. I do pray to God. I do believe in that. But I do think it's important to be open to other things that aren't out of your comfort zone, to like new cultures and new things, because the Chinese have been around for way longer than Americans have, so they've had plenty of time to think about things. So it's like, I had this amazing. I highly recommend qigong for anyone. You really feel like the energy. Like, you can feel it. Like, you can feel God. It's so cool. I love it. Anyway, I kind of got off a tangent, but but yeah.
I recently did Tai Chi at a retreat, women's retreat, and I really found that
Actually similar to
yeah,
qigong.
I really like that too. Can you just share a little bit for those listening? How does work away work? Because first of all, it's amazing that you had that experience, you had that epiphany because of workaway. Like, you're experiencing all of these things and meeting all of these people because you took a chance on this opportunity to do this. So can you just explain a little bit how it worked? Like, do you have to pay? Obviously, you probably have to pay to get yourself overseas, and like, how does that work?
Yeah, I'll explain. Okay. So this is something I've been wanting to do for like 7 years. I don't know how I discovered it, but there's a website called workaway.info. It's the website workaway.info, not .com, .info. It's been around for a really long time. It's a social media platform. You can make a free profile, but in order to message hosts or message people, you have to pay $56 or $60 for the whole year. It's like a subscription. And what that pays for is basically, like, it helps filter out like kind of shady people
They're
by having,
vetting the people. They're vetting the people that get on that platform.
exactly, because,
Okay.
and then there's some type of background check process. I don't know fully how that works. I don't know if I don't. remember filling out a background check form, but they might do that. They do some type of thing, verification process. I don't remember, but it's just a website. Anyone can apply for it. You make a profile. I put on my profile. I'm good with children. I can cook. I'm good with animals. I worked at a doggy daycare. My grandpa had a farm when I was little. He put me to work when I was 14. I was always working on the tractor and the grass, this kind of stuff. My parents would always have me do tasks. I explained all of this and I explained my interest, and I'm learning French and I know a little bit of Spanish, and I put all this in my profile. You just make a profile, and then there's workaway hosts. So people all over the world. There's some in Austin, Texas. They're all over the world, every country. South Africa, there's this really cool one near Cape Town. This guy has a safari company where he takes people on safari tours, and he just needs people's help. The maximum hours you're supposed to work is 20 hours a week, by the way. They're not supposed to ask for any more. And so for me, it's usually about 4 to 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. I work about, so it's not much. And this guy in South Africa wants people to help do marketing on for his safari business. There's people who want nannies for their kids. There's people who have the in Switzerland, Bern, I was helping her flyer for her. She was starting a high school in her area. I was helping pass out flyers in the city center, and I helped them cook and I helped them clean. I helped them go shopping. The first work away, she couldn't. I was help. She broke her leg last year. This older lady, so I was helping her with things she couldn't do because of that, her leg pain. And there's all kinds of jobs all over. So you just make a profile, you pay for it, and then you message place. You can search by country where you want to go, and then you just start messaging hosts. You say, hey, I'm interested in this, and it's completely volunteering. So it's a way to get around. They want people to stay for longer than 2 weeks, usually 2 or 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months. One girl's staying here for 8 months because they have long-term projects and they want someone to stay for a while. And it's a lot of very interesting people that do the hosting. Um, and you're helping out. You're like living and helping, and you get food, you have access to food and a place to stay, but you're volunteering, so I don't have to get a special visa. Like if I get paid from someone, I'll have to get a work visa in this country, wherever country. So I don't have to get a visa because I'm volunteering. When you come here, I say I'm traveling, I'm a tourist, because I technically am still traveling, I'm a tourist, but I am working in exchange to stay here. It's just kind of a loophole. I feel like I found like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I'm like traveling the world with my thumb. But I am offering stuff, and it's pretty scary, but you just want to make sure you message them. And I made sure to have video chat with each of the hosts before going and seeing if I get along with them. There were some people I said no to because I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't want anyone that just wanted me to crash and mooch because I knew that would harbor resentment in them. I wanted to work. I have to work 20 hours a week because I don't want to freeload. Um, and yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's a great way to travel because I've always been wanting to do this for 7 years. I was terrified to do it. I almost canceled this trip so many times. I had just lost my job. I was in limbo. I used my last bit of unemployment money to buy my plane tickets out here. And you can get some pretty cheap tickets to Europe. What you do is you type your city in the US in flights.google.com, type in your city, and in destination, you can put Europe. So you don't have to put the country, and it'll show you what the cheapest flight to fly into. And I found a really cheap flight to Norway. It was only $300. And then from Norway, there was like a $10 flight from Norway to London. And then
Smart.
that's how I got here. So you can do that. Like you just find the cheapest place to fly to. And once you're over here, they have a airlines called Ryanair, which is kind of like Spirit Airlines in the US. It's just really cheap flights and $10, $20, $30 flights. It's two other like my flight to Edinburgh was like $40. Like I'm going there at the end of this month or next month. So
Wow.
so yeah, my next workaway is in Scotland. I can only be in Europe for 90 days because I don't have citizenship and I don't have a visa. But in the UK, you can be there for 6 months without a visa. So I'm gonna go to UK for at least 90 days and then come back to Europe. And I'm just gonna bounce around between UK and Europe until I get my citizenship. Once I get my citizenship, I can get a job out here. I can get an apartment, get a house. So so that's what I'm doing. And it's a great way to travel. I recommend it for anyone because you get to have a cultural experience. You get to meet locals. You get to hang out with someone. I'm not just in a hotel and going to guided tours. Like I'm meeting locals, I'm experiencing the culture, I'm experiencing the history. Like I'm in a small town. You get to feel what it's like to live in another country. And I've always been very interested in how a first generation American feels, like an immigrant, someone who moves to America without like knowing the language. I've met people like that and they're so inspiring for me. They're such hard workers. They barely know the language and they have to build an entire life and they're usually sending money back to their family. They're just inspiring, amazing, wonderful people to me. I've always been fascinated with what with them. So I think that's why I'm so attracted to being here in Europe and kind of being an immigrant here. I don't like the word expat. It sounds too I technically am, but I'm not yet, but I don't it sounds too like bougie, whatever. Like I'm an immigrant. An immigrant is someone who migrates to another place. Like there's no bad terminology about it or an expat, whatever you want to call me, but
World traveler.
road traveler,
Yeah.
gypsy.
A
I'm
gypsy, an experiencer.
listening to Lady Gaga Gypsy a lot.
This has been so fun catching up with you, and I'm excited to see how this experience will change you over
Thank
the
you.
next year. And I am actually like, let's plan a catch up, maybe not as long as 2 years, maybe in 18 months or something like that. I would love to see
Sure,
how
I'd
this
love to do
experience.
another one in a year. Yeah,
Yeah.
really exciting. Good. I'm curious to know for the listeners, like what their experience with grief is and traveling, and I'm really curious to know if I'm the only one who feels this like connection with with my loved ones that have passed. Like if I'm just kind of delusional about all this, or
No, I
if
can even tell you just people who I've talked to and had who have been on this podcast that that's not true, that you're not alone
other
in that.
people are thinking about them a lot, and yeah, no one really prepares you for it, and it's kind of like a splinter you just gotta rip out. It
Mm,
just happens.
it's very true.
Well, thank you. This has been
Yes.
so wonderful. Yeah,
Thank you so much for being here and for catching us up on your life. And I look forward to seeing what Workaway brings to you in the future because I think
but
it's,
I'm still working on music. I'm actually looking for recording studios right now because I have a song written that I want to record. And so I'm still doing my music stuff. Like I haven't given up on my influencer music artist dreams. I'm just trying to make a more deeper, more personal brand than just like some candy pop, like superficial, like 3D, like just two-dimensional person. I'm just trying to be authentically myself, but I'm still gonna do music and stuff. One thing I haven't done, sadly, since Chase and Josh died, I haven't really written about them or about their death or about any of that. I want to. I've been kind of procrastinating and putting it off. One of my favorite artists is Grimes. I don't know if you know her, but she's amazing. I love her. she's so wonderful. And I learned this, that her first album, Oblivion, was written in Vancouver, Washington. Her best friend died from a drug overdose, and she was, to deal with her grief, she locked herself in her apartment for like a week and wrote Oblivion, which was her first like landmark album that like blew her up. And I've been wanting to do this, but I haven't known how. I have, it actually brings up some pain, like mentioning it. Like, I've been afraid. My imposter syndrome says I'm not good enough to produce all the songs by myself, that I need a microphone, I need this, I need that, I need this. Like, there's all these excuses that I have. And I really, hopefully by the next time we talk, I will have done a lock-in for a week and written about Chase and Josh and Julie and my other loved ones. I've written about Julie. She was my aunt. I didn't really mention, I mentioned her a little bit, but she died like a while ago from an overdose. But like, I didn't, I still haven't written about Chase and Josh. And I think I need to. I'm kind of waiting for the right time. It's gonna happen when it's supposed to happen. And but this next song I'm doing is called, it's gonna be like a chill kind of pop song, like asking people to get to know me, because I want people to get to know me. That's why I love doing these podcasts, because I really hope some of my friends and loved ones watch this and it helps me connect with more people, because I want an audience that's real and not superficial. Like, we all have a reason why we're connected. It's not just because I'm hot or just because I have good music. It's like, oh, they have a reason, you know?
Well, and I imagine that the loss of your loved ones aside, that just traveling over the next year or two, that what you experience will inspire your writing for sure.
Oh, definitely. And I haven't really written about traveling yet. I'd like to, but I've been writing. I've written a few songs yesterday. I've been writing, yeah.
Yeah, let the environment inspire you because it sounds like it is. So that's wonderful.
And well, thank you, Victoria. Love you.
Well,
I'm so
thank you. Love you too. And
glad.
remember, when you unleash your heart, you unleash your life. Much love.
Oh,